Good evening, everyone. A late night update here for you concerning trends in the computer models that show a strengthening, strong hurricane possible in the Atlantic as we go into next week. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justus, your trusted weather expert, giving you early warnings of severe weather, a reliable forecast you can count on, and a direct approach you won't find anywhere else. Let's get right to it and show you what I'm tracking right now because there's a lot going on. Two areas here in the Atlantic basin to watch. This first one has a 20% chance. Yes, it could bring some flooding rains to parts of Central America and to Mexico, but the one I'm most concerned about now has a 60% chance at formation, and we need to watch this closely. Right now, the models are showing it's generally going to head toward the west, and early models that we've got into our forecast center this evening are showing we really got to watch this bad boy because it has the potential to turn into something very strong. A couple of different models are showing that. This here from the GFS suite showing a strengthening system moving toward the west, kind of in a west-northwest fashion, which is into this weekend into early next week in this area of the Caribbean, but late next week up in this area, which again could mean anything is possible. And here's the concerning trend. Our tropical models are the only ones really running on this just yet, but the early models here are showing, whoa, we need to watch it. Now, it's early in the ball game. I'll be the first to tell you that. I do not like hype when it comes to forecast, but I do like being transparent and telling you what I'm seeing. And I see a concerning trend here with what these models are trying to show us with regard to how the potential is here. The potential is here for it to be a very strong system. We're just watching right now with where this thing could go. And right now there's a big swath of what could happen here with the models. Notice how the deterministic GFS kind of takes it in Central America, that green line. The ensemble, all the different runs of the GFS that just ran, take it more to the north. But there's a big spread here, as you would expect this early in the ball game. But it just bears watching just because it's going to get near land at some point. And we need to watch that closely. The trend here, averaging out the European, the GFS, the UK, and the Canadian, all that we have available at this point, kind of show you this plotted line in this area. Caribbean islands here, leeward and windward islands being the first to possibly be impacted by this. Going into this weekend into early next week, Monday, Tuesday, as early as Monday, Tuesday, we could have a stronger tropical system, maybe even a hurricane knocking on some of these folks' doors. Here's the ship's model. It's a little bit on the strong side, but it shows a depression, a storm, a Cat 1 hurricane, then a 2, possibly even becoming a 3. Now, again, the ship's model has a tendency to sometimes overdo it, but again, this is just showing the potential is here for this to be a big, strong hurricane. Another way of looking at these trajectory models here, going up to this yellow line right here is a Cat 3. A lot of them go up here. Some of them are kind of down here, tropical storm status. Either way, we've got something to watch. So what do our global models print out on this? Well, let's show you our trusty European model, one of my favorite models to watch. This is not only the European, but the ensemble, which is 51 different varieties of a model solution to give you what could happen here. And it shows as we go into Saturday, many of them have a tropical depression or tropical storm. That's why you see within 48 hours, we could have a named system, 60% chance of that. And then moving forward here into Sunday, many of the models here showing tropical storm. And then going into this area, pretty good consensus here in the European models with the Leeward and Windward Islands, St. Martin, northbound, possibly seeing some of it north of Trinidad and Tobago for you folks. But some of these models are spitting out 980s, 970s. Something to watch here going into next week. This would be Tuesday, July 2nd. Tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane in this vicinity, steered by this massive dome of high pressure. Oh, by the way, high pressure locked in across the East Coast as well. That dry, hot weather looks to be sticking around. So this is another way of looking at that same model I just showed you, but showing you sort of the lowest pressure within that suite of models. And it shows 984s, 976s, and then, you got kind of some stronger readings here of lower pressure. Half the model suite wants to take it up here north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Half of them want to take it south. Depends on the strength of this high and the location of it. Does it leave enough of an opening for it to go north and maybe it spills into the Atlantic, or does it stay south in the Caribbean? Just too much to iron out here, folks. But again, my philosophy with forecasting on television for the past 20 years and forecasting here online is to give you all the information I have, to be as transparent as I can responsibly. But you've got to take that information responsibly as well, not going to the water cooler talk and saying, hey, Chris Justus said we're going to have a Cat 2 hurricane. I didn't say that. I said there's the potential of it from these models. So you got to take this information responsibly, folks. Moving forward here, the deterministic model of the European, showing a tropical storm. So just showing you that agreement here. The 12Z model of the European. This is one operational run of the model of the European. So it's a pretty strong tropical storm or hurricane moving into the Caribbean into next week, and then possibly becoming a very strong hurricane in this Caribbean. Now, this is the European. The GFS has a very similar look, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. Wowzer. That's a 940, 950 low. That would be something, okay? And certainly not out of the question. I'll show you why in just a moment. Here's the GFS run. This is the 0Z, the brand new one that just came in, moments ago. Let's back it up one just to have a full run. Very similar here. Shows a hurricane moving through the Caribbean islands on Monday, July 1st, going in the Caribbean on July 2nd, 3rd. It also has a little renegade guy right behind it, possibly trying to roll on through here. This continues up toward the north here, and then very similar to the European. Almost lockstep with it, going into the Yucatan Peninsula and then possibly into Mexico. Now, the steering current, as I'll tell you, a strong high, has been sending almost everything Yucatan Peninsula to the Bay of Campeche region of the Gulf and then into Mexico, and not really spilling it north, which could determine our level of impacts for the United States. A closer look at that model run with the GFS spells the concern here for the Caribbean islands. One of my favorite places in the world, St. Martin, looks like it goes just south of there, but for the Leeward and Windward Islands, this is something you got to watch as early as Sunday, but more Sunday night, Monday. Then it strengthens in the Caribbean right here. This GFS model bumps it up against the Dominican Republic and Haiti, almost sends it right into Jamaica. That other smaller storm kind of fizzles over Haiti, but then moves into the Atlantic. What does it do then? That's a big question. Moves into the Yucatan Peninsula, continues to strengthen here in the Gulf, and then spills here into Mexico. Let's look at that same model, but with the European. Let's back it up a model run here. European was again showing a little stronger system right in there. So here we go. We're into the 4th of July here in the Caribbean, the 5th of July, the 6th of July, a major hurricane on the European model. This will be 6th of July going toward the Yucatan Peninsula. And that's as far as our GFS, our European model gets us, is into next Saturday, the 6th. So I want to end it here with you, just showing you what this system as it moves over the waters would encounter. And you got just boiling water here, which is gasoline for this, and this is why it's showing it strengthening. These are water temperatures that are typical in August, folks. So we're dealing with an August level storm possible here as we go toward next week. The potential is there. Again, the potential is there, not written in stone. As always, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'm your trusted weather expert. I've got 20 years experience on television as a chief meteorologist, and I love my job so much. I love being able to share that passion with you and provide updates here online in addition to what I do out in the TV world. But simply put, I'll be using all the tools that I have available here to give you early warnings as to what's going to happen with severe weather, whether it's wintry weather, tornadoes, or in this case, hurricane season. So make sure you keep it locked in here, and I'd really appreciate it. If you like this video, let me know where you're watching from. That really helps me out. In the comment section, if some of you are watching from the Caribbean islands, I know some of you do, and just let me know where you're watching from, and please consider subscribing to this channel if you don't already.